Now, last year, after the Chicago Bears drafted Caleb Williams first overall, it was a no-brainer, right? Correct?
No brainer.
Yeah.
And so when a quarterback's taken first overall, and there are some people with half a brain for sure who are saying is this a no-brainer? You're kind of wondering if there's any there on this front. And that's what Cam Ward's got to deal with. Is obviously lots of expectations, but I've never seen a first overall drafted quarterback get zero buzz or run about him, quite like Cam Ward. And that actually happened right off the bat. Again, we had him on as soon as he was drafted. Yep. And I was told that night ESPN did not have the interview with him because I guess they were in Mad Mel mode right there, and
the trade broke, and so
the trade broke for us too.
Yeah.
But we still spoke about Cam Ward for a couple minutes, and then tossed to the interview.
Yeah, Mel was kind of going nuts, and then obviously the trade broke, so they were all in on the Travis Hunter Shador of it all.
Right.
Yeah,
and we were too at some point. Listen, I'm not denigrating.
Yeah. No, that's just what happened.
At any rate, long story short is after Caleb Williams got drafted, this is what Matt Eberflus, head coach at the time, had to say about whether this was a week one starter or not.
Has he been told that he's the starter going into training camp? Do you even have to have that conversation?
No conversation. He's the starter.
I mean, that was it. And
that was pretty smart.
Listen, we were saying that at the time,
yeah.
Even in retrospect, a totally different answer from Brian Callahan, the head coach of the Tennessee Titans.
We'll have plenty of opportunities. How those reps get shaken out will sort of be determined by how they perform when given opportunities. That part of it's been thought out. We have a plan in place, and what that looks like is going to ultimately be sort of up to them, and how their performance goes when there's time to perform. So, feel good about the process and the plan in place, and there's going to be plenty of reps for those guys to compete and get better and improve and be ready to play in September. So, starting off early on here is baby steps to some degree.
When you say those guys, which guys are you referring to?
All the quarterbacks. Yeah, they're all going to have opportunities to compete, and again, there's three quarterback jobs on most teams, sometimes four, and we're going to let them compete for all those.
Cam Ward, Will Levis, Brandon Allen, Tim Boyle. So do we say that the first overall pick is number one? That's for sure. There's no competition there. And I understand the difference between Chicago and Tennessee is Tyson Bagent wasn't a threat. Will Levis started games last year. But is it really going to be a situation where Will Levis can compete with Cam Ward? Or because that door does appear to have been left open slightly ajar when this was said last week. And again, I guess one way that Cam Ward would be talked about is if he's in a quarterback competition with Will Levis and Will Levis is winning it. Like fair and square, straight up, no thumb on the scale just because someone was drafted first overall, and we're willing to let him marinate. We're willing to let him work his way through getting ready because Will Levis is showing up loaded for bear, putting mayonnaise in his coffee and eating bananas and getting ready to go.
Then why didn't you take Travis Hunter?
You could have had Hunter then.
No, I'm fully aware of that, and I might be completely misinterpreting what Brian Callahan had to say, but I have since, read tons of articles and do not see, there's no question he's our starter and he's going to be installed as our starter. And sure, I mean, does this push Will Levis? Yeah. Does this push Will Levis to say essentially Brandon Allen or Tim Boyle have a shot at the backup job?
But Will Levis had his chance.
Yeah.
Why'd you take a quarterback number one overall?
Because Will Levis wasn't the guy, or Cam Ward has such a major upside. Like if Caleb Williams was the guy being drafted, it would have been, oh yeah, this makes complete sense. Will Levis, see you later.
Yeah, but do you pass up a unicorn? Everyone said this other guy was a unicorn and he was special and he was one of one. Like
the answer in the NFL is yes. You heard what Daniel Jeremiah said 2 days after we were back from Green Bay. On the Tuesday after the draft, said he spoke to 15 to 20 people of note in various parts of evaluating and coaching and front officing, which is not really a verb, but I just did. That to an individual, he didn't find one that did not think the Browns did the right thing by trading out and getting quarterback type compensation for a draft trade involving somebody that isn't a quarterback. They thought to an individual, the Browns did the right thing. Don't draft Travis Hunter. If you're going to get what you got from Jacksonville, which is compensation in a draft trade that normally is the type of compensation involving a trade for a quarterback. So the answer is they did the right thing. They think Cam Ward is generational and he's the guy that they can lead with the Brian Callahan system. You do that instead of Travis Hunter. 10 times out of 10, 100 out of 100. The question is there really going to be a competition? Because for me, when that schedule comes out next Wednesday, I'm looking for who the Tennessee Titans are starting against and saying that's Cam Ward's first game.
Yep.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.